to talk about how God is light. All right. Basically, God equals light. So first, we need to introduce the concept of what is God and what you know as God. Right? A lot of people know God through the lens of religions, which basically mean they make it seem like there's some guy in the sky controlling everything. This is why I don't like this definition because a lot of us have certain feelings and stuff uh, tied into this definition of what God is, which is why I like the Hermetic way of describing God. They don't really say God, they say the all. And that basically makes a lot of sense because if God is omnipresent and all knowing, he has to be the all. Now, I don't want to go over the definition entirely on how they define God because you could just read the Hermetic text. Well, the first one would be the Kybalion. You could read the Hermetica. Uh, those are like the two that I like the most. But basically, God is the all. Now, what you need to understand about what God equals light is that in this physical realm, everything is about light. Even everything you see is about is a distortion of light. So if God equals light, he represents the highest light or the most purest form of light. And everything else is just different distortions. Like every religion, the way that I see it, is kind of like the rainbow, right? The rainbow comes from the sun. When the sun hits like something, it refracts into the seven different colors, seven different shapes. The sun you could see as a physical manifestation of God, and the rainbow, the different colors, is just that refraction of that one light. So the same way you could see religions as different manifestations of God. So that's why there's like different religions. They're just different colors or shades of that light that represents the all. But if you study like the religions, you're gonna see overlapping things that kind of match, but they always have something that's different from one another. And this is why you can't be caught up with religion and stuff because then you're only gonna get one shade or one hue of what the light is. Now the light gets represented in the physical realm as physical reality, right? But it's all light. Good morning. Ready. Hi. What was I saying? I always get confused when I see people. I don't expect to see people commenting. But God equals light. That's what we're talking about, right? The light. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Get your coffee. I had this in my head before I started, and now I always freeze. But I was just talking about God equals light. I'm trying to change the between Hebrew and a Jew. Yeah, I'm not gonna get over that. So I'm talking about God. It doesn't really matter whether the Hebrew is a Jew. It doesn't really matter because we're all part of the all. So basically, the reason why you need to understand that God equals light. Let's talk about even science agrees with this to a degree because they talk about the Big Bang. The Big Bang is just the first is Genesis. Like before there was nothing, and then the Big Bang, this big light. Well, if you read Genesis, right, what does it say? At first, there was the Word, and the Word was God, right? And he saw that the Word was good, something along those lines. You know what I mean? And then God said, "Let there be light." That's the Big Bang. When God said, "Let there be light," that's equal to the Big Bang, where everything got created from that light. But it all started from nothingness or the darkness. You understand? Yeah, I'm not talking about the seven trumpets. I'm talking about light right now. So if you're not talking about light, we're not gonna talk about another time. You can talk about that stuff. I don't know what that is. So basically, when they talk about the Big Bang, because everything, I'm gonna try to relate everything to science because a lot of people don't understand spirituality. They only study physical stuff. So when you think about God and the Big Bang, it's the same shit. The beginning of creation was the Big Bang, right? According to science. Well, if you read the scriptures, the first thing that God says, let there be light. That was the Big Bang. So that lets you know that God is light. Now, if you ever read the Ra material or the Law of One, they talk about light slash love. That's like the highest manifestation. But even that doesn't encompass everything because remember, God is the all, but it gets represented in this physical realm as light. So that's what we have to define God as, not this guy in the sky, but light. But everything encompasses light. I encompass light, you encompass light. Everything that you see is light because that's how we see this reality with our eyes. Our eyes are picking up frequencies, light frequencies. You understand what I'm saying? Now, there's also a spectrum of light. There's infrared all the way up to ultraviolet, kind of like the rainbow, right? 7 different colors. But there's also, that's only a tiny amount. Light is life. Mr. Clean with dark ratio. What you think a woman has a glow when she's pregnant? You spiritually take a baby's aura. I never saw it that way. You see, this is why, I don't claim to know everything, guys. So I like when people comment stuff because it makes me think. Remember, you have the answers. That was them first cue of the human, Tina Marie. It's a good way to put it. You see, you all have the answers to. I'm speaking from my own point of view because you have to remember when you tap into the all, you're never gonna give somebody an answer that is gonna be the same, but you might be in the same frequency because remember, you're like a receptacle of light. These bodies that we have, we get light and then we transmit that light based on the words and the culture that we're around. So based on all the shit that I learned from this physical realm, I'm gonna try to explain what the unlimited is. The law of one. Yeah. The raw material. Which I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of skeptical about the law of one. I mean, I'm not as skeptical about the law of one. It's just sometimes when people get presented information, you don't know the reason why they might be presented information. The information might be true, but you can like see the people that are presenting the information are this stuff because I know a lot of people follow the people that gave that information, but sometimes they don't get caught up. They don't understand the material itself. They kind of like praise too much the people giving the material. But remember, everything whenever you see a Bible, whenever you see spiritual stuff, remember it's all about you. It's a story about you. Don't try to like idolize anybody or whatever. There's something else I wanted to say about the light. 7, yeah. So God equals light. That's the first thing. God is the all. Well, what happens with the bad stuff, right? If God is light, why is there bad? Where is the vibrational energy of light, not the spectral energy of light? Okay. What do you think sound is? Because sound is a big deal in the universe. But we're talking about light. And thank you. God is light. Light is just a simple way of putting things, to be honest. Let me talk about the 7 laws of the Hermetics, right? The first law that you need to understand is everything is mine, or the all is mine. Let me pull it up so I don't look like an idiot. Because let me see 7 Hermetic laws real quick. Let me pull my laptop. 7 Hermetic laws. Because everything, mentalism. So the first law is mentalism. So before anything else, you have to understand that the all is mine and everything is mental, right? Egghead. Sound is universal, yeah. So I don't think they're in order here. Kybalion. The principle, the all is mine, the universe is mental. That's the first thing. So if everything that's happening is happening as a thought form in the mind. right? That's the first law. Then there's the principle of correspondence, which is above as above, so below. The principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. So the way that I interpret that is that whenever, whatever you see outside is going in within you. So that's why you may see, you know, the trees, they have like roots and stuff. You also have like the same roots in your nervous system and your blood vessels and capillaries. If you look at blood vessels and capillaries, they kind of look like roots. So everything that's going outside is also going within in a different way. Kidneys, for example, looks like kidney beans. And this is no coincidence. You might think it's just a coincidence, like what are you talking about? But remember, everything that is made up in the universe comes from the all. So everything has kind of the same blueprint. We kind of just, if you know the concept of a hologram, or not a hologram, a fractal. A fractal is like a tiny piece of something that resembles all those stuff of the biggest piece. Even the planets. Let's talk about the planets. There's like the 7 main planets represent the 7 main energy centers on your body, but it also represent shit. Yeah, that's one of the big ones that I remember. You got your solar plexus would be the sun. That's one I remember. Your lower chakra. I think the hey, if you wear a turtleneck shirt, you will most definitely look like a roll-on deodorant. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny. Let me see. There we go. I don't have a moderator. I gotta put up with these comments. All right, what's this? The third law of vibration is, I mean, the third law, the principle of vibration is what you need to know. Now, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. So everything that you see in the physical is vibrating. And that's how the physical manifests. Brother, ignore the stupid people. You know, they're not stupid, they just don't know better. This is like a manifestation of the lowest light. Like trolling and stuff like that. I mean, they may think it's cool. They may think they're doing you harm, but it just shows the duality of stuff, right? I'm trying to talk about high concepts, and somebody's out here trolling. That's how you that's how you complete this the cycle of duality. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I love to laugh, but at this time I didn't say ratchet talk, right? I said God equals light. No, you don't have to stop. Just like you should understand that. You see, when people get called out, sometimes they're like, "Ah, shit, I'll stop." It's not about that, man. It's just there's a time and a place. But you know, this special education. Hey, man, we all special education rejects, to be honest. Because the Matrix wants to put you in a box, and whenever you don't fit in that box, then they might call you like these certain words for whatever reason, right? But I look at it like this, you know. Sometimes I see autistic people, and I feel like they came in. We have the programming of being. They don't have like that thing that makes them go with everything, right? Like they do their own little thing. They can't be programmed, pretty much what I'm saying. They have their own little stuff. And they call autistic because nobody can put them in a box. Like, oh, we don't know what to do with this person. So let's make up this term called autism to put them in a box because they're not in a box. Isn't that hilarious? You have these kids that do whatever the fuck they want. They're super smart in some fields, but they don't conform to society because society is the box, is the matrix, right? Society says you have to do this, X, Y, and Z. But the autistic kids, they don't follow the societal patterns. But because the matrix has to have everything labeled in a box, they're gonna call, okay, this is this is why the autism is a spectrum. You can't really pinpoint somebody with autism as the same, because I could be autistic and then somebody else could be autistic. They could be completely different. We have 7 senses. Okay. You're gonna have to expand on that because to me, we have 6 based on what I understand. Because we had, you know, the 5 senses, which are the physical senses. And then you have like your 6th sense, which you could link to your third eye, which is actually the 6th energy center that tethers you to the non-physical. But all the senses are still rooted in a reality that doesn't encompass the all, because once you go to the all, there's no such thing as senses, there's no such thing as names, there's nothingness. There's like this is why people go in samadhi. I think that's what the Eastern religions call it, or ecstasy, or enlightenment, right? That state of enlightenment is because you actually realize godhood and perceive everything, which is really nothing. The moment that you embody a physical identity, that's when you start suffering and stuff like that, because now there's labels, there's duality, right? There's good and evil, right? There's dark and light. Let's go back to the light, because that's what the name of the title is. When you think about light, you can't think about light as good and dark as evil. Because think about it like this. The Egyptians call what we see as our physical body as Ka, which means shadow. So it was Ba, the essence, and Ka, the shadow. And then you have the word Merkaba, which is spirit light body, or spirit body. Mer equaling spirit, once you like ascend. So what is the shadow that you see as the physical? The shadow basically, it points you to the right direction, right? Why do we have a shadow, which is the physical body? That's because our higher self, which is our light, is projecting our physical body as a shadow. But the shadow is not evil, right? Because let's say you point like the shadow of a tree, depending on how you look at it, it might be scary because it looks distorted. But when you look at what the shadow is, which is a projection of the tree, you look at the tree, it's like, oh, it's just a tree. But the shadow at first can take all these different forms, right? And be scary at times. Analytic and problem solving recently. We have 7 senses. Okay, the same too. Light matter versus dark matter. I'm not too familiar with dark matter or light matter, but what is matter? Matter, material, don't matter. Matter is just the physical representation of light. This guy seems like he knows some stuff. You might have to tap. You might have to tap in. Atomic structure. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know if I cover everything. I always go on tangents. I'm like, I was in my bed. I'm just thinking like, God equals light. Let me talk about this. I had a whole plan. As soon as I start talking, it just diverges into different things. Maybe I need to do it with my eyes closed, because that's how I really can concentrate. That's the thing about these eyes. These eyes, you pick up a lot of shit in the physical reality, and then you can concentrate on what's coming from here. When you close your eyes, you're basically tapping into that unlimited state. This is why when you go to sleep, the physical body is at rest. A lot of us don't understand this because we don't have the consciousness. We can't take our consciousness beyond the physical. But when you're dreaming, you're in the astral world and you're perceiving a whole different world. But our consciousness is so low that when we go to sleep in the physical, our consciousness kind of just shuts down. And what happens is when we have dreams, all the emotions that we have, all the mental projections of the day get manifested in the astral, and they get like they kind of get cartoonish and exaggerated. But what happens is once you start getting consciousness, you start to realize this, and then you can pretty much take the consciousness that you have in the physical into the astral, and then everything kind of collapses because there's people that take over, not take over, but some people they see that you don't have the consciousness or the physical or the mental stability to control your emotions, so they control it in the astral. And that's why sometimes you might wake up one day and you might decide to do something, or you might have a dream about something happening and then it appears in the physical. Well, that's because somebody or something happened in the astral that got manifested, and now it's being like, it's like a funnel, and now it's coming into the physical. But then because you had like the intuition or you saw something happening, you might change what you did in the physical and stop it. Yeah. I'm gonna give you one more chance, memes, and then you're out of here. because you're distracted from all the three people that are here watching. Now you distracted me. It's like I'm not. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, that should be good. Anyways, this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna hide you. Now you can make fun of me all you want, but now it's not the time. You can go to one of my videos and make all the fun comments that you want, but right now I'm just trying to talk about this shit. Because I think it's very important that we refine God as light. Because when you define God as light, once you embody more light within you, you're gonna. I think he left now. Now you see what happens when you remove their voice, they're gone. Energy is matter. Yep, it can be measured. Dimensions are measured. Reality, height, wide, depth, 3D. The measurements of time is more complex. Yeah, because there's no such thing as time, right? Time could be faster in one area and it could be slower in one area, basically. This is why when you go in space, right, and you go at a fast speed of light, the people here don't experience the same. They don't experience the same time that somebody in a spaceship going light years experiences. It slows down for them. So it's interesting how the faster you go, the slower time gets. And something happens when you go to sleep. Is like I believe your vibratory cell, like everything in your cells, it starts speeding up, and that's how you can access the astral realm. The only reason I know this is because something is called sleep paralysis. Do you know gravity affects time? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know everything, so I didn't know that. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, yeah. I don't know if you watch my channel or how do you came up about this video, Freddie? You saw my face, my black ass, and said like, oh, let me look at this video. I'm always curious about the people watching. Uh, it's interesting. Just looking outside. You're gonna say more about that? I'm kind of interested. Gravity affects time. Some people might say gravity doesn't exist. Like Terrence Howard. I always check out the morning shows. Oh, this is a show? I didn't know. I don't like calling my shit shows because I feel like I'm not here to entertain y'all. At least not in this video. Right? I think when I think about shows, I think about entertainment. And this is more like about awareness or like if anything, this is kind of like a very low level class because I'm really unprepared. I was saying, no, channel, yeah, the channel. You know, the crazy thing about channel is like that's one of the best words to use because we all channel. Your whole identity is being channeled by different forces. Lecture, yeah, that's a good thing. But channel, you know, when they created those words, you have to like study all the words that you see. You know, this is not by accident. Whenever you're watching TV, you're watching a channel, right? A channel of information. Information. So they put informations inside you. They're also called programs because they program you to do certain things. It might be, and you might think, what are they programming me? I'm just watching cartoons. Well, that's a program. Everything that you take in is a program on information, your information. Most intelligent people are usually up and mentally active. Yep. I mean, what is intelligence, right? Because there's a thing, somebody that's in Harvard may be called an intellectual, right? I know you use the word intelligence, so I think that's the better word because I know intellectual is more your left brain, your logical. You know, in the physical, we love intellectuals or we think that they're the smartest. Oh, if people were more smart, the world would be better. But what about the compassion? What about their heart? Because we all know you can be super intellectual and not understand basic emotional intelligence. So there's always have to be like a balance of stuff, right? You can't have somebody so intelligent that they can't understand basic human emotions. Kind of like an Elon Musk. And I have nothing against Elon Musk, but you know, that would be a good example of somebody that's very intellectual, but is not intelligent. Yeah, accumulated knowledge and the proper application of this knowledge. I kind of like how they in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth they just make it basically make it seem wisdom, power, love, right? First, you you seek power, and then this power becomes wisdom based on the love that you acquire. So if you just have power, it could be volatile, it could be bad or it could be good. But with love, it turns into wisdom. Does that make sense? I probably doesn't. I don't even know. It's all started with God talk or God equals light. But yeah, that's just the way that I see God. God equals light. Everything in this realm is light. And then because everything is vibration and light is a vibration. So if everything is vibration, everything that you see here is just lower vibration of that light. And the higher you get in those states, the faster the light or the vibration becomes, and then it becomes more like the light as we know it, right? Because light is the fastest speed, right? Light speed, light years. Isn't this what God teaches you? How do you think God teaches us, or the light teaches us, right? And one reason why I wanted to say that light equals God is because if with light equals God and light is a frequency or a vibration and everything vibrates, then that means everything is God. My eyebrows are God. These headphones are God. It's just a different manifestation of that light, of that vibration. I'm trying to tie it back to the title as best as I can, but I deviated so much. The fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. Yeah, that I don't like the word fear. This whole God fearing thing, I'm totally against it because then you make it seem like you have to fear this entity that's yourself. So a fear of God, why would you fear yourself if you are God, if you are the light? Why would you fear the light? Because a lot of the things, a lot of the reasons that some people turn into, they turn away from God is because they actually scared of the light. If you ever hear stories about demons and stuff being scared of light, they're literally scared of God. They're scared of that light. That's why they go in the shadows. They feel comfortable in the darkness. But the light is too scary for them. Fear is respect. So why don't we just call it respect? Why call it fear? Because we all know what the word fear means and what and that in the association the word fear has with some people. I'm just a fan of using the correct choice of words, especially when you study what the word means and the etymology of the words and the root cause of the words. You start to realize that words, most of the words that we use, they don't mean the things that we think they mean, right? Yeah, smoking of nicotine. So what? This is the wording of primitive minds. Which is what? Fear? Anybody else has things to say? Feels like I'm talking to a real person, so it's good. Primitive minds. You know, the interesting thing, because I think about the commandments sometimes and morality. People believe that just because they're good, they're going to heaven. But all you're doing, the morality and the Ten Commandments and all that, those are laws. Like when man was given those laws, it was because they didn't know what the fuck they were. So imagine creating programs or like imagine creating an entity that didn't know it was an entity. It kind of like came with a blank state. It didn't know where it was, right? Imagine creating a robot and had like no instructions. It would just be doing random shit. So the commandments are kind of like a basic program to be like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. You're this. But we have to rise above those commandments. At some point, you got to realize there's no such thing as good and evil. Yeah, it was written for the masses, but it's written in allegory. So the surface level is for the masses. But remember, in the Bible, it also says that, oh, stone this person if they don't do this. That's all written in code and allegory. They don't want you to actually 10 rules of conduct. Yeah. Thou shalt not kill. Why should somebody be told you shouldn't kill somebody? That's because they have no awareness. But once you have an awareness of who you are, you don't have to tell me not to kill somebody because I know that's a bad thing. It's not that it's a bad thing in so much as is why would I kill my brother? Why would I kill myself? If I know that we're all light, why would I kill light? Why would I try to diminish it? You understand? And shout out to the people that stayed. It's like 30 minutes. I didn't know. I mean, time goes fast. You know, y'all are the truth. Everybody watching this is going to be blessed. I promise you. I don't know how, but you will. Just because you stayed, whoever stayed to watch this. Uh, their rules of conduct. God equals light, vibration, and all that. Next time I might have to write things down because there's times where I can flow, but because I was getting this information with my eyes closed when I was laying down, I was meditating. Once I get out of that state, I just come back. I become a regular human, and now I'm like distracted, looking at the shit outside, looking at the people, the cars, shit. Because once a group of people come together, rules are needed to be. Yeah, exactly. So what happened was, I mean, we all know kind of what's happening, but we like to be blind, right? You know, the people that are controlling this society, they basically saw that, oh, we can use this shit for our own gain. They see they kind of know some of the esoteric principles, but they don't tell the masses. Which we don't have to tell the masses. They have to kind of seek that information. But basically, the way that it's being presented is kind of like we're gonna use fear to control you guys because fear gives the other people power. I live in LA, California. Shout out to California. Shout out to Kendrick. I don't know if you've rocked with Kendrick, but I don't know. I just stuck California and Kendrick. My star! That shit's gonna stay with me. I didn't think that album was as good as it was, but there's some gems. There's actually some metaphysical gems in that album if you actually listen closely. Which is so strange to me that Kendrick is. It seems like he's so tapped in to who he is, but he entertains some of the bullshit in the physical realm. So when the beef was coming up, I was like, yo, there's no way that Kendrick is this woke person and he's entertaining this beef. But now I understand, kind of like when you tap into the unlimited and then you go back to physicality, you have kind of two choices. Because I kept hearing this voice in my head. I feel like it tapped into my pineal. It kind of kept saying like choose a faction, kind of like choose a side. It's kind of like, okay, you know what the fuck is going on. So which side are you gonna represent? You're gonna represent the left side, the dark side, or I represent neutrality. That's what I like to represent. But basically, what that told me is like, it doesn't matter whether you tap in or not. There still has to be. If you're in the physical, you have something to do, whether it's good or bad, because that's how this plane is represented. He's saying out vibrational energy. Yeah, some of his music, I listen to it and I just get turned up. And not like in the turn up, like, oh, let me drink some liquor. It's like, yeah, I'm a fucking god, nigga. This is why I don't give a fuck anymore about what people think about me. I might go outside and you might see me praying to the sun or looking at the sun. At first, I would be like, oh, I don't want people to look at me. Am I meditating? I don't. Sometimes I don't give a fuck. At Gravity Wealth, right there. It seems like you like the word gravity a lot. Because to me, gravity is only thing only it's only something that happens in the physical. You know, once you're in the astral, you can fly around. There's no such thing as gravity. So gravity to me doesn't really mean anything other than it keeps you here tethered to the realm so you don't go about. But there's probably a way to get over gravity in the physical. You know, the good thing, the craziest thing I realized tapping into this. So there's the basic knowledge of, oh yeah, let's go back to oneness and all that. But then there's also magic, because you know magic was invented by Thoth to kind of go about this realm in a different way than the physical. So basically, you can do things in the physical sense, but because we're ruled by time, you might not accomplish a lot of things because there's physical limitations. So that's where magic comes in, or the mind. Because a lot of people see magic as, oh, it's paranormal. We don't know what it is. Magic is just wisdom, right? But if you don't know the wisdom, it just seems like magic. It's just science. It's the weakest force in the universe. I'll be honest, yo, I don't even know what the fuck to talk about anymore. I might end this shit and then come up with something later. When you jump, you defy gravity. Oh, I like that. Yeah, because you know, you see the athletes, right? I always like, you know, like Jam Morant, for example. He's like 6'1". He's like about my height. The way he jumps is like when you slow it down, you're like, he's like gliding. In some point, they defy gravity so much They're almost suspended in the air for a split second. But when you remember there's no such thing as time, that's an unlimited amount of time. That's why they're able to do those twists and contortions, because at that time they're not perceiving time like us. They're going so fast that they defy gravity, like you said, and they defy time. So they have time to do those quick movements. But when you ask them about it, be like, "Oh, it just happened." That's because they were going. It just happened. Everything slowed down for them. Bingo. Pick one subject. I just don't want to deviate from the title because some people might see the title. And I understand why. I don't know if you guys follow like other YouTubers or seen other lectures. Motherfuckers will have one thing in the lecture, and then it will take like an hour for them to actually start talking about it. But now I understand. It's because once you open this shit up, this is a portal. Like I open up a portal and I'm talking to people that I don't even know. Like everything when I think about phones now, I think them as low level portals to transfer you to a different reality. Because let's say you have your own reality that you're living right now, and we're connected to this phone. But if I didn't have the phone, I would have never connected with you. The same thing if I'm dreaming and I'm in the astral and I connect with somebody, I probably wouldn't even connect with that person if I wasn't in the astral. But I opened that portal, right? And if you're in the astral, you know that you can go from your house, you can leave your house and then be in a completely different place because everything is literally a portal. Water, eyes, mirrors. Freddie Dorsey YouTube channel. Shout out to you, Freddie. Let me see if I can go to your channel real quick. I can't look at it right now. I know that once the video is posted, I can look at the comments and go straight to the channel. You talk about this stuff? Are you popular? I'm not popular. I just want to know. So I like to see. I was watching a video of this dude with dreadheads, with dreadheads, dreadheaded dude with dreads. And it kind of shocked me because everything he was saying the same shit I was saying, but in a longer video. Everything that I was thinking that day, but the video was from like a month ago, and I was like, "Yo, the universe is fucking with me right now," because this motherfucker is saying the same shit I'm saying, like literally word for word, to the point where I thought I was copying him. Yeah, the astral plane is just the emotional plane. I don't like the astral world because when we say astral, we think about so many things, but it's really your emotions, imaginations. There's this whole astral Reddit, and I was posting there talking about, oh, you don't have to have an out of body experience to travel to the astral realm, because people think you have to be in your astral body to astral project. But if it's an astral projection, then you can just project it in your mind, which we a lot of the times do. The problem is we don't have that faculty or that imagination to keep the shit going. And a lot of people think imagination is not real because of the physical, right? Because it's not physical. Remember, in the physical reality, if it's not physical, people are not gonna fuck with it. If you start talking about magic and shit like that, oh, that's fake. Like I don't deal with that shit because they don't understand that there's a different level happening right now. The astral is happening right now. It's just that when we're in the physical, our consciousness is tethered to the physical right now. Thank you. I like this. We have a universal knowledge that connects all of us. Some of us have better reception. Exactly. Thank you for saying that because I'm gonna go back to the light. When I think about light, I think about the pineal gland. The pineal gland in the Bible is called the lamp of the body. If thine eye be single, something something something. When this shit is illuminated, you are illuminating. You're taking from that unlimited source and becoming a better receptor. You see, I had a dream where I was like with this person, and I seemed like I was scared in the dream, and the person kind of wanted to guide me, but he saw that I was too scared to go with him, so he just went by himself. And when I saw that he left, everything got dark. And he was like radiating this light. Like it was just his own body, but he had like this light that illuminated things around it. To me, that represented that that person had their pineal gland activated and they were able to like give light to everything. And that's why sometimes you might not astral project because you don't have enough light to light the astral world around you because you're carrying a lot of darkness, which is from the physical. You have to see the physical as the shadow of kind of like the astral realm or the higher realms. And we talk about the shadow. What is the shadow or the ka? Is what we know as the physical manifestation. We never learned this knowledge in public school. That's why we are unprepared. Yeah, basically all of us. Which is kind of like when you tap into this, you almost kind of feel betrayed and you don't know what to do because you're kind of like this is not real life. But then it's like you get disconnected from all this shit, and then you see other people, and it's like, yo, like y'all don't know what the fuck you are right now. Anybody look at you like you're crazy because they're still running programs in their head. Oh, I gotta go to school. I gotta look at my baby mama, whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking like, yo, we are limited beings. We're all limited beings, man. Why are you guys talking about this shit? Oh, but I gotta pay my bills. How's that gonna pay my bills? That's like the favorite one that I like to hear. How's that shit gonna help me with my bills? Once you tap into the unlimited, you won't give a fuck about your bills. Sexual education is available. You know, the thing about sexual education or sexual in general is that everything that manifested here, according to the seven laws, the law of gender, the law of polarity, everything came through sex. Let's talk about the atomic structure that you talked about before. The atoms are the representation of polarity. That's why you got protons and neutrons, or protons and electrons, positive and negative. That's like the basis, the building blocks of creation. Nobody, yeah. You give yourself life education, living life. But you can't, I don't really see those things as negative because at the end of the day, we have to go through this stuff to come to this shit. You know what I mean? This is kind of like the precept, like the prelude, or the prelude, or the, what's the other word with the, yeah, it's like the prelude to like knowing who we are. First, we need these blanks, these characters, aka who I think is me, to experience life, and then we go through life, and it's like, oh, okay. Once you get to these different patterns, you start to question, like, okay, this pattern is not helping me, and then you go beyond that pattern. The more you go beyond, the more you strive, the more you struggle. This is why struggle brings you light. Because once you struggle, you have a choice to make. Are you going to continue to struggle, or are you going to find a way to break this shit? Whether you break it physically, and let's say you're struggling because you don't have a lot of money, and then you start making more money, you physically change your reality. Or you change your mindset and you realize that you're not struggling because you don't even exist. Who you think you are is a projection so you can experience this physical universe. And that's how you become more powerful, because just then you then start to realize, oh, I'm everything and anything coalesce into this physical body. So let me pull from that unlimited and present to the people who we are, right? Think this way. That's what monastery are built to separate students from artificial reality. Monastery are built to separate students from artificial reality. Interesting way to put it. So you're saying that the purposes for something like a monastery or like a pyramid, for example, is to basically, yeah. You know what? I kind of agree with that, because when I think about the pyramids and the initial reasons why they were used, they were basically a way to like put you in a. First of all, the pyramids used to they had like a whole vibration to them that you can't access them unless you're inside them. And then the top of the pyramid draws from the unlimited. So basically, the pyramids were made to initiate people that couldn't be initiated by themselves. Because it's kind of like a sensory deprivation chamber, right? You can't see from the outside, right? You can't hear shit from the physical. So you're in this pyramid that mimics your third eye or your brain, right? Because the different chambers, the king's chamber and the queen's chamber, they just represent the pineal and the pituitary gland. So when you're in this pyramid, all the axis that comes from the pyramid is light, and then it goes down. That's why the pyramid is kind of like a diamond, but most people don't show that. It's kind of like a diamond because it actually connects down, and that's the difference from like churches. Churches only go up, so you're only sending energy, but you're not tethering to the earth. You have to create that connection. It filters out the negative energy, but it also projects. Because this is why the pyramids are really. The people say, why don't they make pyramids anymore? They don't really need pyramids anymore because you can. The way that the universe works now, you can pretty much you're your own pyramid. All you have to do is connect to this. That's the pyramid, right? But back then, they will put you into the fucking sarcophagus after fasting and all that, and then what that does is it opens you up to a whole different level. And listen to this. The reason I understood this is because every time I'm meditating, there's always something bothering me when I'm trying to connect to beyond. Either somebody knocking on my door, or my phone goes off, or something happens. But if I was in a pyramid in a sarcophagus and I'm trying to get away from the world, what's gonna distract me? There's nothing out there. There's nobody knocking on the door. The only thing that could distract me is my own mind. But if I've been fasting for 3 days, like the Emerald Tablet says, and I haven't eaten, you think I'm gonna be thinking about a lot of shit? You're gonna be in a state, and this is physical too. This is science too, because when you fast, what happens when you fast? You shut down your digestive system, and if you shut your digestive system, there's this thing called MAOI that pretty much inhibits the breakdown of DMT. So your body's gonna produce DMT, and now you're gonna get quote unquote high, and then you're gonna be able to connect to God, because DMT is called the spirit molecule. There's actual papers written about this, so you guys can look it up. Most stones have crystal arrangement. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I think the massive stones were needed because they wanted to make a big ass building. Because if you look, there's other pyramids that are not that big. But yeah, I think I'm about to end it though, because I just went completely off rant. Excuse me. But shout out to you, Freddie, for rocking with me. I know you've been here the whole time. There's only one people. There was mad people. I mean, not mad people. There were some people here. Some people talking about Trump, but I'm just looking at like the comments. Yo, once I kicked that one troll, everybody said fuck off. It's interesting though. Sometimes trolls power like this shit. So if I would have left that guy in, probably there would be more people because there's actually some other person here. But I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit right now. If I could hide this chat, I'll be good. But it's all technology. Yeah, it's all technology. Crystal reads the imprint of the record to give off vibration. The way that I see crystals too is like crystals are kind of like the physical representation of a certain energy, right? So they might say, oh, this crystal represents the energy of love, or like a pink crystal, or this crystal represents the energy of blah blah blah. So it's like the physical. So for people that are really physical, a crystal could help them because it could help you embody that energy. But at the end of the day, we don't. Those are tools, right? We actually, if the all is mind, everything is here. So when you have a crystal, all you're doing is activating a part of your mind to work. But the idea is not to use the pyramids or use these tools forever. The idea is to use it to awaken. That's kind of when I see people talking about ayahuasca, they talk about ayahuasca like it's some sort of god. And it's like ayahuasca is a tool. But the people that use this tool, they have become enamored with the tool that they make it. They just make this thing like it's, oh, you have to respect, oh, you can't do ayahuasca if you don't fast, or you have to use the plant material. Oh, why are you using it this way? Man, I use that shit the fucking way I wanted to. I made ayahuasca to help myself in this journey. I'm not gonna see ayahuasca as a god. The only way you see ayahuasca as a god if is you turn into the physical realm, and then once you take that shit, it wants to dissolve all that. So when people go through this purging and all this shit, basically what it is the ayahuasca is it's trying to help you get rid of all the shit of the physical reality, so you can tether, so you can go to the other realms. But people see this as, oh, it's ayahuasca kicked my ass. No, it kicked the physical body's ass because you're still tethered to it. If you're not tethered to your physical body, you can go through that shit and be like, okay, it is what it is. Or you might not even go through that. Check out my channel, it's Simple Images. Yeah, I'm gonna go dumb down your show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. I'm gonna be honest. I made a video called Ratchet Talk, and instantly there was like 10 people out of nowhere, like 16 max, and I'm like, just because it was Ratchet Talk. The other one that said God Talk, nobody was watching that shit. But I'm actually surprised. If anybody was watching, I was actually surprised because the way that I was thinking, it was like, okay, I don't want to make a short video, but I don't want to make like one of these type of videos. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just gonna go live, and you can go live vertical. So, and he's gonna give me freedom to talk about certain shit. I'm using subliminal methods. Yeah, you might don't give me subliminal methods to mind control me because I'm gonna fuck you up. Nah, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna check it out and see what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm about to. Might might as well last the full hour. Fuck it. See what other souls come in. Honestly, I have a good feeling about this. I'm just talking. I'm just chilling. Whoever comes in and wants to chill, we could chill too. Yeah, exactly. So, and I was thinking about that because I wanted to make music, right? And I was like, I can make music about dumb shit, gather some followers, make more dumb music, gather more followers, and at some point switch off. Which a lot of artists actually do that. I don't know if it's intentional because sometimes they might be in that frequency of, oh, I want to do dumb shit, drink and all that shit, and then they have something that awakens them, and then they change their content. But with me, I already know what's up. But I'm like, if I really want to reach people, I have to like make something that is gonna reach the people, but also put other nuggets in there. But then you have to make a choice, right? Because if you just want popularity, you know what to do. Talk about sex, talk about drugs, talk about bullshit. It's what's fulfilling to your spirit. Talking about popularity. Because don't get me wrong, sometimes your spirit wants you to be popular just so you can experience certain things, and then it's gonna pull you out of that shit. Because I already lived that popularity lifestyle to a degree, where I was like, oh shit, like I'm really him. But then I saw some shit that I was like, oh okay, that's why I was here. I saw the dark side of that shit. You understand? And I couldn't handle that shit. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I left. I mean, I was gonna leave regardless, but it's kind of like, damn, that was a lot to take in. Now it's kind of like, oh, I'm cool on that shit. I know how to battle it. Was it ego? I don't know what you mean. No, I'm talking about, you say, but it's fulfilling to your spirit. I'm talking about like sometimes your spirit pulls you, like, let's say, well, I guess you could say it's ego, right? Like, I wanted to be like the best womanizer or the most popular guy. I'm not even about money wise. I just wanted to have like people that I knew and like party and shit like that. But and have like a lot of women and shit. But then you realize like, oh, that shit's like there's a lot of shit that happens, especially where it was happening. There was like the people that I was surrounded, the people that I was surrounded, I realized that they were not what I thought they were. There was like a darker aspect of them, and they were trying to pull me into the dark aspect, so I become one of them. Because that's what happens, especially because I started to awaken through that shit. It's like when they see that you have this light and you don't have a, because it's kind of like I didn't have a faction, like I said earlier. So they were kind of like, oh, okay, we need to pull him to the dark side so he's one of us. Because if he goes to the other side, the light side, everything is gonna collapse for them. Because once you awaken, that whole identity, that whole world that you have with them is over. If that makes sense. I just don't want to say too much because I don't know who the fuck is watching. Psyche, yep, there's a lot of them right there. But it's only a problem when you don't have the unlimited to draw from, because they could take my fucking physical energy all they want, but I'm just gonna go recharge. You know what I mean? But when you don't understand, when you can't connect to this, you get things called depression and shit like that. Because the only energy you have is from your physical body. And that's why sometimes people say, oh, you have to work out to get rid of the depression and all that. Yeah, but that's physical. What if you can't work out one day? You know what I'm saying? What if you can't eat this certain food, this certain vegetarian lifestyle, right? It has to be something beyond the physical to give you power. And that's how you go within. And going within just means, like, I'm the way that I explain it is, going within is just tapping into your pineal gland and knowing who you are. Oh, yo, yes, I dealt with one actually. I'm not gonna say this story because it's not PG-13, but I just felt I was dealing with this girl, and it was just like at one point I felt like I was touching emptiness, like you said when we were interacting. It was like, and then after I just felt like this. My spirit just felt sad, even though I was having fun during the time. But then at some point, it was like there's nothing behind this vessel, and it was kind of like a robot that I was powering up because I felt my energy getting drawn out. At the time, I was like, "Oh, okay, this feels good." But then I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on." But oh, you're 60. Oh, okay, so that's why you have a lot of wisdom. Even though I don't equate wisdom with age, most of the time people that are older they have wisdom. It's just that when you're younger, you're somebody older, and you're like, man, you don't know nothing. What do you know about my life? You're old. Like, you're your grandpa. But he's telling you because he can see through all that bullshit. Just because somebody's in a different generation doesn't mean they didn't go through the same bullshit that you went through. People think just because they're younger and things has changed that everything is different. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun because it's the same shit. Just because you have fucking iPhones and back then they didn't have phones and shit like that or whatever, it's the same shit. It's literally the same shit. What else are you gonna do in the world besides trying to fuck bitches if you're a guy, trying to look cute if you're a woman, right? Even back then when they didn't have like phones or like parties, like you seen them Egyptians, right? They were wearing makeup back then. Yeah, shout out to you. I used to be a veteran, but obviously I don't agree with the military like that. I feel like it's a good starting point for some young dudes, but yeah, I when I went to the military, I knew that they were gonna brainwash me, so I kept a little bit of myself, right? I think a lot of people go into the military and they allow them to brainwash them into being a soldier. There just wasn't certain shit that I wasn't gonna put up with because I was gonna do my job always, but there was always some people that were like that wanted to use their power to make me do stuff just cause. I'm like, yo, I'm not even in your division. Have somebody from your division help you with this. You know what I mean? In the Navy, you already know what's up with the Navy. I wanted to be in the Marine Corps, so exactly, yeah. So it's kind of like, and then they get mad at you for not following bullshit. But and the funniest thing is like every time they reported me to the higher ups, when I explain to them chiefs and petty officers my story, they're always like they kind of agree with me, but they knew because they had to discipline somehow. So they're like, yeah, you're making a lot of sense, but so sometimes I didn't even get in trouble, and that pissed a lot of people off because and then that's how I started realizing, oh, so these motherfuckers have no power even here, because if you just like if you speak to them and with logic, from your point of view, they have no choice but to like let you go, unless you fucked up. Like what I'm not talking about like doing like things like illegal and then getting away with it. I'm talking about simple shit like, oh, pick up this thing, and oh, if you don't pick it up, that's a lawful order. I'm like, that's not a lawful order for you to tell me to pick this up, even though it technically is because you're a higher rank. It's just you wanted me to do bullshit. Because if you want it to be picked up so bad, you could pick it up. It's just things like that. Like I'm not talking about like me breaking rules for like coming late because I was always early. The reason why I never got in trouble was I was always early. I always did my work. I above and beyond because if you've been in the military, you know that there's motherfuckers that's always skating. That don't do shit. That they do not only the bare minimum, the bare minimum. They don't even do the bare minimum, and they're still in there because they have to be. So I'm doing everything above and beyond the bare minimum. So that's why I get pissed because I'm like, yo, I'm not one of these motherfuckers that is not doing work. Like I'm actually doing work. I'm actually contributing to everything. So why you want to treat me like I'm some fucking obeying exactly senseless orders? And if you've been in the military, you know that most of the shit is like hurry up and wait. All right, I'm about to end this because it's about to go to an hour. But shout out to you, Freddie. I'm about to check your channel out, see what's up. But until next time, peace. Shout out to anybody else that if anybody else watched this at another time, You, the man or the woman.